Oh, I blew that one, didn't I, listener? Well, let me tell you something, fight fan. Lee Haney was Mr. Olympia for many, many years. I think I called him Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman came after him. Yeah, I mean, I remember Holyfield hanging out with Lee Haney, and I remember the Duvas. I mean, they were a boxing fixture as much as Don King, in the late 80s, early to mid 90s. And then that sort of went away, and that was sad. I know Kathy Duva sort of hung on, and they had Kovalev in more recent years. But yeah, I remember Lou. I remember Dan, the son and father combination. Lou was always in the corner of the fighters. Yeah, and I remember them trying to make Holyfield champ. Now, I also remember, God, who was that? He was a tackle for the Green Bay Packers. He came out of college. He was obviously juiced out, and they talked about getting him a fight with Mike Tyson. And I remember Lou Duva said, yeah, we'll work with him, we'll do it. And Holyfield got very angry because he's like, hey, I think the guy's name was Magikowski or something like that. Holyfield said, "Look, you're either with me, or you're not with me. You're not gonna, make some freak fight like that." And it's funny because that was a freak fight. Now in the age of freak fights, I mean, what do we have them all the time, right? We have the Jake Paul circus train of fighting. But listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with lifting weights and boxing. It's how you lift those weights, right? Obviously, fighting is very much repetition, 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 right? And that's what builds. It's when you do it for power, or bulk, where you're just doing one or two reps at a time, that it maybe doesn't hold water so much. MMA a little bit different, right? That type of muscle might help you in wrestling when you're trying to outstrength a guy. But for boxing, there was that era of Muhammad Ali, of Larry Holmes, when the idea was muscle didn't help you. You wanted to be, you at least lean and long and whatnot. And one of the things we know about fighting is every single build has an advantage, right? Like no matter what, even those big muscular guys, to an extent, they have an advantage, right? I'm sure that their bulk provides them with a lot of protection, body mass wise, but at the end of the day, they can't put out any offense without getting exhausted because it takes a lot of oxygen to feed all of those muscles. But yeah, no, fight fan, absolutely. I remember when they were transitioning Holyfield. I remember the whole weight class argument. I remember him training with Lee Haney. Sorry, not Ronnie Coleman. And of course I remember the Duvas. Kathy was still around to this day. I wish she was doing better, but listen, fighting is very weird, guys. One of the reasons a lot of people get into it. Anybody can pop up one day and say I'm a trainer or I'm a fighter or whatever. Or I'm a promoter. But then it's what you do with that, and it's not always easy getting over the top with that. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Thanks for all the you add to the show, Fight Fan, because it's awesome, man. And everybody else, read my book, Warrior of the Light.